We can just say
It's episode.
it's the next episode.
It's the next one. It's the next one we're gonna talk about. What? Let's see.
Well,
Welcome.
first and foremost,
Yes.
to the latest episode of the In the Box podcast. Boy, do we have an episode for you.
Yeah.
Very interesting discussions to be had about the two most recent movies we've seen.
Killers of the Flower Moon
Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon,
and Priscilla.
Priscilla, beautiful movie. Beautiful movie. So yeah, you kick this off, man. I have so many thoughts that it's kind of hard for me to just like
All right.
go because
Yeah, there's a lot spinning.
there's
around,
a lot
right?
to there's a lot to unpack.
spinning around right now. These movies were. I was excited for both of these movies to come out. I got to reading a little bit. I think I'm about 150 pages deep into Killers of the Flower Moon right now. I haven't finished the entire story. I'm very eager to finish it, but it reads really well. And yeah, dude, it's way more depressing than I feel like what the movie could. I mean, the movie does a really good job of conveying like what went down and what happened, and but the book, the book picks up, whatever the movie can't, and it's it's heavy shit.
I have
But,
a question for you.
yeah.
Do you think this is Martin Scorsese's best movie?
His best movie. I think that Martin Scorsese definitely has like his classics, but I will say that given enough time, I feel like Killers of the Flower Moon could be considered Scorsese's best film, if not possibly one of the best films ever made. I feel like that may be in the discussion, too. Like,
So-
at some point down the line, when people consider, what is the best
Yeah.
movie ever made,
Yeah.
this might be one of them.
Yeah. Would you say that this is your favorite Scorsese film?
It's it's one of my favorites. It's definitely up there. As far as like, if I were to put it in cause see, I don't really like categorize like my favorites in terms of like, top 5 Martin Scorsese, where it's like, no, like when it comes to Martin Scorsese, it's like I break it up to like, okay, my favorite gangster film from Martin Scorsese, my favorite historical piece from Martin Scorsese, my favorite like 3-hour epic from like Martin Scorsese, so I think that in terms of like 3-hour, my favorite like 3-hour film from Martin Scorsese is definitely Killers of the Flower Moon, and Gangs of New York is like a close second to that one.
Yeah.
And,
I would say that this is definitely, in my opinion,
Yeah.
and I guess this is a shared opinion, but
yeah,
this is definitely his best film.
yeah,
And the way that I look at it is like technically, I'm also including like the technical aspect of the film,
yeah,
along with how he adapts the screenplay. And so everything about this movie, though, is like, because you got to think, like, as a director, you're dealing, I think he produced it, right, too? He
Yeah.
also, so it was him and Leonardo DiCaprio that produced it, right?
yes.
So as a, let me,
Yeah,
fact,
let's
let me,
look
let me
that up real
fact,
quick.
let me fact check myself real quick, because I don't want to say anything wrong, but because I have a good point to make.
We need a Jamie. I just realized that.
Yeah, we do need a Jamie.
We need somebody who's like behind the keyboard.
Yo, if anyone wants to be our Jamie, let us know.
Yeah, which would basically just be sitting in the corner and just
fact checking.
going on Google and yeah.
Dude, in some of our earlier episodes, bro, I said some like just crazy, like we would say some crazy.
We would say
shit.
some dumb shit. We would be wrong, and
Yeah, we would just
we would just be so wrong about shit.
Okay, so he did produce the movie.
Okay.
Along with Leonardo DiCaprio and a bunch of other people. But so
Nice.
my point was, as a producer as well as a director, you gotta. I mean, there's so much that goes into making a film, especially of this caliber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have your costume department. You have your set designers, which is a huge thing in terms of period pieces.
Yeah.
You have your art department. You have your hair and makeup, which is huge again for period pieces and really any movie. But
Yeah.
And then you have your script. Like how's the script holding up? And then the cinematography.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like overall, just all around, this is his best movie.
And what I really appreciate too is like this is very much like on brand for someone like Scorsese who loves cinema. Is he had actual Osage tribe as on the set as consultants, and so they had as much of a hand in the film and how it was made and how it was told. And so it's
they were in the movie as well.
They were, yes, of course. Yeah, of course they were.
And
they were also in the film.
In the scene that they're in, I could not. When I found out that those were actually just real people, I was like, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, the non-actors. You're talking about the last shot, right?
No, I'm talking about whenever they were convening over the murders, and Robert De Niro's character was like, I will pay $1,000 to anyone who gives information on the death of the sister.
Oh, yeah. When they're in
and then it's the two dudes.
Yeah.
And they're just going off and everything.
Yeah.
Those are not actors.
No.
Like those are just real dudes, members of the Osage County, like
the Osage
tribe. Sorry.
Yeah.
I got confused with a fucking show on Netflix.
No.
The members of the Osage tribe, like absolutely killer. And I think part of the reason why they're having such an easy time like acting is definitely because of Scorsese's direction, but also because that's their truth.
Yeah.
It's like it's very similar to the Safdie brothers.
Yeah. The way that scene played out, it felt like it was an actual, amongst
exactly
amongst their people.
It's like in Uncut Gems when he's like, hey, I just need Adam Sandler's gonna come. I think we talked about this, but it's like, hey, Adam Sandler's gonna come in, and I need you to just conduct a deal with him.
Yeah, the pawnbroker.
Yeah, so it's like they're not really like having to act necessarily.
No,
they're just having to do their jobs, and I feel like that's what these tribe members were doing.
But that was the best direction to go, honestly. Like that was that was exactly the way to do it,
And that's why I feel like Scorsese's films are so good, because he invokes this natural truth from people.
Yeah.
Whether it's the actor or it's a non-actor or even the set design, everything about what he does just is stems from truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes his movies so good. So I think that this movie is definitely his best movie. I will say, though, it's not my favorite. I will rewatch it.
Yeah.
I loved the movie.
Yeah.
But my favorite is always going to be Wolf of Wall Street. Like the rewatchability on Wolf of Wall Street is like...
Yeah.
Like I quote Wolf of Wall Street all the fucking time. And then also like Goodfellas. It's like...
Oh, yeah.
It's classic,
And what's great about those three movies is that, a lot is owed once again, I think, to the editing abilities of Thelma Schoonemaker.
Oh my God, dude.
she
There's no one in the business that will ever
did
top
it once
her
again,
shit.
dude. It was so fucking good.
You know what's crazy about her is like she used to edit like the old fashioned way, like literally where you're cutting. And now she's editing in like a 21st century kind of she had to learn new technology.
Yeah.
And despite that I would say it's an obstacle.
It is.
Despite that, she still is one of the best editors of all time.
Yeah.
Like that is like that's insane to me, dude.
They work so well as a pair. I mean,
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese and Thelma Schoonemaker, they just make like this amazing fucking team. And it's always going to be like no matter who Scorsese may be working with, be it past or present or future, if he is working with Timothée Chalamet or Leo DiCaprio again, I mean, what it doesn't matter, dude, as long as Thelma and like Martin are together and working in this symbiotic, relationship. It's I mean, dude, I had such a good time watching. I saw this 3 fucking times. I saw this movie 3 times, dude.
I've been trying to see it again.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been trying to get out to the theater again and see it, but
Yeah.
I'm really same thing with Oppenheimer. Like I'm really fortunate to have seen this in the theater.
Yeah.
It is 3.5 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you I did not get up one time,
No.
that is impressive for me because I have a really small bladder.
Yeah.
And I shit you not, I did not get up one time during this movie. I was so invested in this film.
Yeah.
My fucking bladder was like invested too because it was like, nah, you gonna wait, motherfucker. Like
Same thing, man.
we're all gonna wait. Like
my guts were on fire, dude. Like
Yeah.
I was hurting, but
and I was drinking like a big ass icy. I was eating, and I still sat there for like 3.5 hours, dude. And that's, man, dude, for a movie to be so engaging like that is very rare,
Yeah.
you know. But well, I guess I wouldn't say rare, but I think it also has something to do with because we're two huge Martin Scorsese fans. So it's like,
so okay. So enough about Scorsese. Enough about Schumacher. What did you think of Leonardo DiCaprio's performance?
it's definitely his best performance of his career.
I'm in agreement with that.
Because you take this character. Okay, so, and I want to say this about De Niro too.
Yeah.
And De Niro could win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
He could.
He could. I see that because here's the thing. This is the thing about this whole movie is that it's very simple.
Yeah.
It's a very simple story. Ernest, right?
Ernest Burkhart. Yeah.
Ernest Burkhart is an insanely simple character.
Almost a little too simple-minded.
Yeah, like simple-minded. But I mean, even when you're writing it, like
Yeah.
even when you're writing it, I'm sure like you're reading the book. He's a very simple guy.
Yeah.
There's not much to him,
He's a pretty straightforward dude.
and there's not much to the story in its entirety. You know, it's like, hey, white people come in, marry members of the Osage County for their oil, and that's it.
So, yeah. So, yeah, because I read a little bit of the book, and it was crazy because what had originally happened was in the Osage they were pushed out from Missouri, and they landed in Oklahoma near Fairfax, and that was basically their land. When they had struck the oil, that was basically around the time that there was this big thing called the Great Land Grab. They called it the Great Land Grab of 1898. Yeah. It was called the Great Land Grab of 1898, and that was all these settlers, all these cowboys, ranch hands, oil barons. They were all coming in droves, and the Osage tribe was the Osage Nation was actually selling off, these parcels of land and these lots of land to these ranchers and these settlers, and it got to a point basically where the Osage, they were experiencing a lot of a lot of robbery, but also you had a kind of an epidemic of white people were marrying into the Osage, and then Osage spouses just turning up dead.
Yeah. So like that's what I mean. Like this story is very simple, right? And you have these characters like Ernest Burkhart and what's Robert De Niro's character's name?
W.K. Hale, William Hale.
Yeah, William Hale. Who he was probably the most two-dimensional, like on paper.
Yeah.
But Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro give such good performances that they make them like three-dimensional characters.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's not necessarily a hard thing to do, but the way that they do it, like it really, like when you're watching Ernest Burkhart and everything he's done, even though it's bad, you're still like invested in this love story. And you still believe that he cares about Molly.
Did you believe that?
I did. Like I really did up until the end. But like the whole time you really believe it. But then we're getting reminded that like, oh no, but it's weird because what I got from it was that he's so simple-minded that he kind of just does whatever he's told. I mean, he got on his fucking knees and like got spanked by his uncle, so it's like this dude's
true.
very like
He'll do
he'll
what
just
he's
do
told.
what he's told. Yeah, he's very like
Someone could
whipped.
strong arm him and
Yeah. So like, but I believe that, and this is through Leonardo DiCaprio's performance. But you can feel that he really does love her, but he's also doing what he's told.
Yeah.
And so that's that 3-dimensional part that I'm talking about. That just
His struggle becomes more about like how long can he play a part in this plot against his own family. Like how long can he bear witness to what's going on and before he speaks up, before he actually does something about it.
Yeah, and he says it multiple times during the movie, but he says like, he loves money.
Yeah.
He loves money.
Yeah.
And unfortunately the love of money is basically, I feel like money is an antagonist in this movie.
Money is money is very much the MacGuffin that drives the story, for sure.
Like it's so prevalent, even within the Osage people. It's such a, because like the Osage people like present themselves as like very spiritual, right? Which they are. But at the beginning of the movie, we're shown that they like being rich.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was because I think the elders of the Osage, they knew that, with this money there was going to be, they show it actually in the beginning of the movie where it's like they know that their way of life was going to end and that their children were going to be growing up under the influence of, Anglo-Saxon, like I don't even really want to say culture. It's more their rule,
like an enlightenment.
Not really even like an enlightenment, more just like an assimilation in a way. Like an assimilation process.
Yes,
because that was how the Osage tribe saw it. It's like they didn't need money. They didn't need like luxury, the cars. They had their own way of life. Things were working the way they were working fine. They didn't need. That's not how they lived.
Well, but they also rode around with chauffeurs.
Well, yeah.
They also went shopping.
Well, I was more speaking in reference to like what was like happening in the beginning of the film.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. But like you said, as time went on, like they eventually were,
they become rich and they reap the benefits. And it was so interesting. And I looked this up a second ago because I wanted to highlight Robbie Robertson's score in this movie was absolutely genius. He actually died back in August, but
what?
He passed away in August 9th he passed away.
Oh wow.
But oh my God, dude, his score in this it made his score in this movie was so impactful that I fucking rewatched The Irishman.
Yeah.
Because of that like haunting guitar that he does. I don't know how he does it, but
it sounds like a harmonica in a way. But
yeah, but it's a guitar.
It's a fucking guitar.
I think like technically speaking, I think he's using like a volume swell or something like that. But it's so haunting and it's so.
Yeah.
If I could describe one sound, if I could describe Martin Scorsese with a sound, it would be that sound.
Yeah. It's like making a guitar whistle. Like he's making a guitar fucking whistle.
Yeah, or cry.
Or cry.
Yeah. And like that's dude, can you imagine if like Robbie Robertson and let me make sure that this wasn't the case, but can you imagine if they collabed on Goodfellas? They did not.
They didn't?
No, they collabed on Casino though. But like, can you imagine the score?
That'd be a different movie.
Yeah, the score.
Just from the score alone.
Yeah, the score from Irishman, but like on Goodfellas. Like, oh, that would have been, dude, that would have been sick. But I like the use of the music in Goodfellas. But like, imagine if there was that additional score. I don't know, but when they were showing that montage at the beginning, where like, the Osage people were kind of just how they live their life.
Yeah.
I was so invested in that. And that really drew me into the movie because I was like, wow, look at this history. Like, look at the way the world was.
Yeah.
Where the minorities are not the minorities.
Where
whites are the minorities.
The chauffeurs, man. I mean, like,
it's
even funny you say like the minorities are not the minorities. You
know?
Dude.
Like, I was so, that's when I saw that, I was like, this is why this movie's important.
Yeah.
This is why. because I'm not saying all white people, but what historically what white people have done to minorities is crazy, bro. It's crazy. Like to just think that you're better than someone because of your skin color is crazy, because Ernest Burkhart and his whole family and Blackie and all the white people in this movie were stupid as shit. They were all less than the Osage people. The Osage people are beautiful people.
I mean,
beautiful.
There is something to be said about, like, I mean, even when you think about, say for instance, W.K. Hale, what he thought of the Osage, where he's like, the Osage, he goes on to say, like, the Osage are my friends. I love the Osage. But he also says, and he says this multiple times to Ernest Burkhart, where he tells them their time is up. Their time is up.
Time is up, and that's it.
Their time is up. And it's only because he says their time is up. The fact of the matter is that I think that there's something to be said about, white people who think that, like what they interpret to be love, when it's love towards somebody that they also view to be lesser than them. Yeah.
I'm so sick of like white people playing God.
That's and that's exactly what I think was the case with Ernest Burkhart too, where it's like, look, man, it's it might be love to Ernest Burkhart, but it's a white man's love, man. Mm-hmm. It's a white man's love, and it's the kind of love that's like, I love you, but you're also like a creature that needs to be put down. Basically, your time is up, and I'm the one who decides that.
They love. It's like in this movie, they love people like they love pets.
Yeah. It's
like, well, gotta put the dog down. It's like
yeah. Even the way the doctors were like treating Molly, dude.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, dude, we haven't even gotten to the part. Lily Gladstone, best actress. I'm calling it right now. I'm locking it in. Lily Gladstone.
Which is crazy because we're about to discuss another movie.
Yeah.
That also. What can I just say something real quick? I'm just gonna like.
Go ahead.
This is off topic, but I have not felt this good about cinema since like what was a good ass year, bro? Like
2018.
Like 2018, dude. You remember 2018? Dude. And then 2016 was good. Yeah. But 2018 was like, oh, dude, we had Joker.
Well, actually, no, 2018 and 2019 I think were like the twin years where it was just like,
dude, it's like
Suspiria,
you couldn't, Hereditary, dude, you couldn't
Joker, tell. Midsummer.
Like if you think about Best Picture, you're like, I don't know, like I don't know,
I don't remember.
Like this year, like I'm genuinely like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. There was I'm so fucking happy with this year in movies.
Yeah,
and we've had strikes. Mm-hmm. We've had writer strikes and actor strikes, but still, I am so like, I love years like this, dude. I love being able to not fucking know who's like, because there's some years where I'm like, oh yeah, and it's when Joaquin Phoenix, like I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, he's gonna. Yeah.
Oh, he was. He was.
It was like there was no. It's like I can't think of who else was nominated that year, but he was very clearly gonna win. This year, I don't know. I literally have no fucking clue. Fucking Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. I don't.
Ryan Gosling maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking who else, dude? There's gotta be someone else.
Fuck.
I'm blanking on some of the films.
I'm blanking so fucking hard on this.
But
right
no,
now.
like
yeah.
Vin Diesel. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Jason
Momoa. No, this is a good year, man. And with Lily Gladstone, like, this is a really good year for women.
Yeah.
This is a really good year for women.
She played.
It's gonna be so fucking interesting to see who wins this year.
Yeah.
Not who's nominated. I feel like, but who wins?
She played Molly Burkhart with like such a sincere like earnesty about her.
Dude.
And I will say like one of my favorite. Okay, so we do spoilers all spoilers all the time. Where one of my favorite scenes that she was in was when Ernest is sitting with Tom White, and they're both in like this boardroom together, and then Lily Gladstone comes in, and she sits, and they're talking. Leo and her are talking, and she asks him very softly, very quietly, very gently, um, "What did you give me? The medicine. What was in it?" And Leo, he doesn't he knows that she knows the truth, but he still tries to like break through. Like even in his face, you see it too. Like with his expression, that he's like, "Do I lie? Like is like he's caught. He's been fucking caught, and he doesn't know what to do.
That was one of the scenes that solidified, like, oh, dude, Leonardo DiCaprio is killing it.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And
was
then,
one of those scenes, like, oh my god, dude.
And then when he tells her like insulin, and then she just stone faced, man, just
She
gets up,
knows.
and
She knows.
She knew. And my favorite thing about this story is that when I think about not thinking of it through a historical perspective, but thinking of it through like the film that I'm watching, the information that I'm being presented with. I remember there was one scene where she's talking with Ernest, and she says to him, "I had a dream that we were in Colorado. We were in Colorado, and you had told me all of your secrets, and I took your secrets, and I think she said like I put them, she said like I buried them, and in a way that was like her expressing that dream to him was her way of basically saying like, look, like if you just tell me the truth, if you just testify against your uncle, if you just do the right thing for your family, like then there's a place for you still where you can still come back, And while she's telling that to him, he's looking at Tom White and the FBI agents the entire time. It's almost like he's not even registering what she's saying to him.
Oh yeah.
And then that comes back to bite him. Like I feel like that comes back to bite him later, where it's like, yeah, dude, I mean, she told you, like if you were just fucking honest, like she would have, there was a place for you still. But no. Like and to see like I know that some people had said that they wish that this story wouldn't be centered around like Leo's character. I don't really feel like it's centered 100% around Leo's character, because there is like this twin narration going on between Lily Gladstone and Leo DiCaprio. But I will say like I think it requires like an Osage voice to tell like an Osage story. And Martin Scorsese, I think, I think I don't have any problem, but I feel like with his like perspective on like him choosing to center like Ernest Burkhart as like the person who's like the one bearing witness to what's going on around him, because I feel like this film does a good job also of like kind of depicting like the dangers of ignorance, like how you can act like something isn't happening, you can act like something isn't going to happen, you can turn a blind eye, you can pretend to be playing dumb, you can pretend to be ignorant to like what's happening, but you're still going to see the consequence of it, which is a lot like the film like Oppenheimer in a sense. Narratively it follows the same kind of structure.
It's also like he didn't make this film for the Osage people. He made it for everybody.
Yeah.
And when you make like, yes, you have an obligation to the Osage people, but at the same time, you're making a movie so that everybody can see.
Yeah.
And I feel like he didn't really disrespect them in any way. I feel like he told the story in a really accurate light. I feel like, historically, I feel like he was pretty solid,
I think yeah, no, and I think that it also I think that he also went about it in such a like incredibly smart way by kind of marketing the film in a way as like a almost like a western. And in the traditional western, you know, you have Leonardo DiCaprio who normally plays, you know, the Rick Dalton type character. You know, not to say,
Yeah.
but like he plays the Rick Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lily Gladstone, we're thinking is like going to be the
Damsel.
wife, the damsel in distress, the wife by his side. William Hale, you know, played by Robert De Niro. We got your villain right there, and you know, we think that this is the story we're going to get. You know, like in the trailers, but then you find yourself in the theater and you're being told a completely different story. You know,
Yep.
you're being told a completely different story, and I think that this is I think that that's actually one of the things that he does best, because what he does is he basically pulls in, you know, his older audience, which is like generally, you know, white guys like us. I mean, guys, men mostly. That's his demographic, right?
Yeah.
He pulls us in, and he tells the story of America. And when he tells the story of, you know, Ernest Burkhart and W.K. Hale, you know, we're thinking we're originally sold that it's like the John Wayne Western concept.
Yeah.
But then you realize, no, it's not. It's a villain story.
Yeah.
And Leo and Robert De Niro were playing the villains the whole time.
Oh
You
man,
know?
and he doesn't really like. He kind of tiptoes around that the whole movie until like a certain point where he's like, boom. Like I would say like the last hour, he's like, boom, yeah,
Yeah.
these are the clear villains,
Yeah.
and I love
Yeah.
that, you know.
What I also love too was that you can never really tell like just how much Ernest Burkhart knew about what was actually going on. You never knew like
Yeah,
the
that's-
scope of what was
yeah.
actually happening, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of weird that like cuz even when the murders do start happening, you know, you see that Ernest is like having a hand in, you know, like assisting Anna, you know, like Molly's sister Anna, you know, to assisting her and getting her a ride home. You know, but it's like, did he know that she was going to die that
Yeah,
day?
it has it. That's
It's
never like
so
you don't know.
incoherent.
Yeah.
So
Oh man, that's like you just don't. Yeah, man.
so along the way, it also just makes it a really good mystery film.
Yeah,
as
man.
Well, you know, I mean,
You know, I gotta say too, like, we were talking about Lily Gladstone, and the scene for me that really solidified her performance. Like, I was like taken back. It was two scenes. It was when she has to identify Anna, and she's like, you know, being carried
Yeah.
to the. And in that scene, also, if it genuinely feels like Leonardo DiCaprio is shocked, also, which makes me think he didn't know.
Yeah.
And then the scene where Bill Smith and the other sister, I forget her name, Rita,
Yeah.
their house blew up,
Yeah.
and he goes down to the basement and tells her that it was their house, and she just like lets out this like this cry that
It's like a blood curdling cry.
yeah,
dude.
man, I haven't heard something like that since Hereditary.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
yeah,
all. That's always like that's like the new bar now. Is like,
yeah.
is it like Hereditary good? Like how
Yeah,
good is
yeah.
that Scream?
Yeah, Hereditary has that like
And
just gut wrenching like wail from
it gets you right at the chest, dude.
what's her name?
Tony Collette.
Tony Collette, yeah. Dude. Oh man. So, and the other thing too is Jason Isbell, which is he's a country music singer. He's
Yeah.
also a songwriter. Man, he puts on a good performance as Bill Smith.
Bill
That dude's
Smith,
like not
yeah.
even really an actor.
Yeah.
And now he's all of a sudden in fucking Scorsese's movie. It's like,
Yeah.
but he
dude.
has this, he does like just naturally have this face, excuse me, where it's like, you can't tell his intentions.
Yeah.
Like just off his natural face.
Mhm.
Like he has a very like, and this whole movie, like it's very like stone cold, just you don't know. You don't
Mhm.
know his intentions. You don't
Yeah.
know how much, if he's in on it. You don't really know up until the point where he's actively investigating the death of Anna. You don't like, you think that he's just another one of the white dudes
Yeah. You think
doing what white dudes do. But then I genuinely believe that he and I don't know what it says in the book, but I genuinely believe that he was in love.
with Rita?
with the first one.
Minnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the other
with
sister.
Rita.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
okay, so I did read into this part in the book a little bit. I think my conclusion that I drew from it is that I think that Bill Smith knew what was to be gained from marrying Rita, because she was one of Molly's sisters who was already ill. You know, she was already sick. And so Bill kind of did, swoop in. Like he knew the advantages basically, and he knew that Minnie's time was, coming close. But that was more just an opportunistic thing. Whereas I think afterwards, when he married Rita later on, and there's that confrontation from the film too. That's also in the book.
With him and Ernest, right?
With him and Ernest, where it's where they're talking about like Ernest says, like, I just don't like you very much. I don't like how you are. And then Bill's like, I hope I haven't done anything to offend you. He's like, no, it's just the way you are. And then there's just like that whole tense moment between the two of them, because it's like neither of them. It's almost like the Spider-Man meme, basically, where it's like, they're pointing fingers at each other, like, are you gonna kill my wife?
Yeah.
You gonna kill my, like.
But I think it's one of those things where it's like they both know what they're doing individually.
Yeah.
But they don't. It's like an unspoken thing.
Yeah.
They don't know that maybe the whole thing's compartmentalized, bro. And William Hale is like the ringleader.
Yeah.
And he's in the ear of this guy and the ear of this guy, but these two guys don't know what the fuck's going on. You know what I mean?
I will say this. I don't know. I'm not sure if the film actually made a point to convey this, but when Tulsa happened, you remember what happened in Tulsa Massacre?
Yeah.
When that happened, I don't know if it was confirmed or not, but I feel like William K. Hale at some point had taken inspiration from what happened in Tulsa and kind of used this as a way to like push out, the Osage Nation. Mm-hmm. And so that, I mean, it's crazy too. Like, okay, we haven't even gotten to De Niro's like fucking performance as well, but like what he brings to the table by basically like portraying this man who takes inspiration from the evil that surrounds him and decides to utilize it like a tool. It's in the book, William K. Hale is described as this legendary cowboy. He started off as a ranch hand, and he worked his way into basically being able to buy land and cattle, and he started establishing his own cattle business, and then eventually branched out. I mean, as far as like self-made, like rich men, William K. Hale was, one of those guys. And, he over time, like as upon his rise, he was very friendly. He was friends with the Osage Nation, but like I said, once again, it goes back to, how W.K. Hale views, love and friendship in the eyes of people that he also thinks lesser of, Yeah. Where it's like, like they were friends. He was friends with the Osage and he loved the Osage up until he decided it was time for the Osage to go, And so the man was ambitious and opportunistic to the bitter fucking end, dude. It was, yeah.
Yeah, didn't he end up like going back?
Yeah. After I think because this is that's the part with the J. Edgar Hoover radio show where they're talking about after he got out of Leavenworth, right? He got pardoned, didn't he? Yeah, he got pardoned, and then after that he had visited the Osage territory many times after that. Apparently he had been in Fairfax multiple times since he got out of prison. So
the fucking balls on this guy, bro.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's. I mean, he was absolutely right when what he was telling Ernest Burkhart when in the jail, when he's saying, there's going to be an uproar for, there's going to be uproar for a little bit, but what happens is people forget over time. They forget over time, and nobody cares eventually at some point. Like, and that's true, and that's even further, I think, exemplified in the end when the story is concluded. We don't see the conclusion of the story. Instead, we hear it through a J. Edgar Hoover radio show.
Mm-hmm.
Just another episode in the J. Edgar Hoover radio show. Just another
I thought that
episode
was
in the
so
archives.
cool, yeah.
That was so cool how they ended it, man. And then they had
sick. Little Scorsese cameo.
Yeah, dude.
Little Jack White cameo.
Yeah. I started choking up, not gonna lie, when Scorsese came out and he basically read Molly's obituary. Like that was, man, dude, that really nailed the point home, I think, when he was just talking about how there was just no mention of the murders, nothing about what she had survived, nothing about what she had been through. And
that's just,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's why this is such an important movie.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely a strong contender for Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Best Supporting Actor, Robert De Niro, and Best Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Best Actress, Lily Gladstone.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful movie.
Best Editor, Thelma Schoonemaker.
Yeah.
Best Director, Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, this is, this is, wow. On to another movie.
Yeah.
Man, this is this whole episode is just about like how white people suck sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
As a white person, if you're watching this, fucking learn your history, bro.
Yeah.
And do better. That's the only way the world will change.
Also, if you're a white person listening to this and you get mad, just
turn it off.
Just
because we're talking about real stuff. We're not just we're just sharing our opinions. You know, you know, fucking white people have done some shitty shit, man. You know, and it's like it's time that y'all fucking. The only way that change can be made is if more people just learn history. That's literally the key. If you learn history, and you learn, if you learn history, it's maybe not bound to repeat itself. But if you don't learn, it is bound to repeat itself.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So, but you know,
also like just don't take it too seriously. You know, we're talking about movies right now.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
yeah, and that was our mission statement when we fucking brought this podcast back. So I don't know why I'm tripping, but
we're not experts. You know, we're just
we could be categorized as white people.
Don't do that.
Don't
do that.
Well, because that's what I put on the thing.
I put Pacific Island or other. Like I can't do it when you take the tax test and like when I'm filling out like
because like your race is
work.
Hispanic, but like the other it's like you're Caucasian, so it's like, what have I done?
I don't want to because I'm like I can't.
What has white people done?
I can't say it because I don't even know like what link to like whiteness I even have. Like I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Wish I knew my fucking history.
Dude, do a 23andMe, bro.
Wait, that also doesn't that also tell you
one.
like if you're it tells you other stuff too, right?
Yeah.
What? Like
what you're bound to be allergic to, or it can even go down to like if you hate cilantro.
I like cilantro.
Yeah, so it's like,
but like
53% of people with your same genetics like are allergic to cilantro or allergic to peanuts or whatever.
Yeah,
shit like that.
I just feel weird about putting my DNA in the mail. You know, I don't like the.
Don't be
idea
like
that. No, I am like that. I will be like that.
Yeah, dude, I found out a lot about myself when I did that.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
What'd you find out? If you're cool with sharing.
I'm not even really Mexican.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like Spanish.
Spanish,
yeah.
Ooh.
Not even really from Mexico.
Whoa.
Spanish and like Native American.
Yeah?
Yeah. So it's like Spaniards fucked shit up too when they came over here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a goddamn colonizer.
That's
bro.
also from Europe. I mean,
yeah, bro.
You know, like we're just learning a lot about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to the next movie.
Yeah. Sorry if this feels like a weird episode.
Yeah. Priscilla. Directed by Sofia Coppola, starring Jacob Elordi as the fucking hip shaking karate chopping Elvis.
Yeah.
He plays Elvis. And Kaylee Spaney, I think.
Kaylee Spaney
Kaylee Spaney?
as
Priscilla.
Priscilla Presley.
Wow, beautiful film. We
It-
saw it last night, and beautiful film.
It was very beautiful.
Great film. I really hate. I know. I'm just gonna say I really.
Beautiful. I really hate.
Yeah, but the only thing is, like, I really fucking hate that Sofia Coppola. She learned this from her dad,
Yeah.
100%. But like randomly during the movie, you're like watching it and it just like fades out. You know?
Yeah.
That's such a Francis Ford Coppola thing.
Yeah.
Because it happens a lot in the Godfather movies. You're watching it and then they're just like, it's like fading out.
Yeah.
And then next to it's like, come on, man, like have a better.
Like end the fucking
Like
scene.
end the scene and then just
Like-
go to the next scene. Don't just fucking fade out like a fucking PowerPoint presentation and shit. Like
Yeah.
that's definitely she got that from her dad, 100%. Because that's all over his.
Who was the
movies.
editor of this movie? Actually, I wanna know.
Oh, let's pull it up real quick.
Let's see.
But beautiful film. Irregardless, that movie, we have never really seen that side of the story before.
Yeah.
It's all about Elvis, all about, his journey as a rock and roll superstar.
Oh, Sarah Flack.
But
Okay.
it's such an interesting take on this iconic love story.
It's based on her book, right?
It's based
Elvis
on
and Me.
Yeah, Elvis
Yeah.
and Me by Priscilla Presley.
Mm-hmm.
Man, is it a beautiful movie, man. Kaylee Spaney, Sofia Coppola does such a good job at really highlighting the fact that she was fucking 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
14.
Yeah. Very weird.
Very weird.
Very weird.
I will say though,
Gross.
it's gross, it's weird, but times were different in a sense of like parents were different. Like
Yeah.
parents that had girls were like ready for them to be married at that time. Very weird.
It was like it's almost as if like marrying off your daughter was like still like a custom even in the 50s.
And then like in school as a woman, you're like, especially in Catholic school, you're taking classes like that will help you become a wife.
Yeah.
Like it's very strange, the woman's role at that time was so weird, so
Sofia Coppola does a lot to like I think drive home the point that like it's she is portraying like a story from another time,
yes
where
yes
even in just the little things that they do, even in the courtship, like of the
Yes.
initial like between Elvis
And
and Priscilla,
yeah, she highlights the fact that she's 14, yes,
Mhm.
but she doesn't harp on it.
Yeah.
Like it's very much like okay, that's what it is, and this is how it played out
I think
type thing.
I had written out here like it's in a way like it doesn't feel like there's any actual like crucifixion of Elvis, but it's more than anything. I
Yeah.
think the film allows the events depicted to kind of like speak for itself.
Yes.
The like and the audience's like emotions are kind of like left to be the judge of like
Yes.
what's happening in the movie, and I think that's like smart filmmaking, because
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't need to be driven home that like this is like a very predatory relationship. It doesn't, because if you do that, you're gonna run out of gas like by the time like
Yeah.
halfway through the movie.
Yes.
Whereas it's like just let the scene and let the movie just speak for itself.
And Elvis really didn't prey on her like at the beginning.
Yeah, it
Like
was.
they did have that scene where he's like getting his friend to like keep trying to invite her, because I guess he's seen her around, I guess.
Yeah,
is what I assumed.
That was confusing. So what was the whole thing at the beginning? Was that her was like that was like his friend, right?
Yeah,
But,
that
like,
was his
Did he
friend.
was he just trying to invite Priscilla, or
No,
like
no,
was
no,
he being sent by like
No, I'm thinking
Elvis?
yeah, I'm thinking he was being sent by Elvis.
Oh,
I'm thinking.
that is kind of predatory.
I'm thinking. Yeah, it is kind of predatory, but also like it could just be that the friend saw something and was like, "Ooh, I got to introduce her to Elvis."
Yeah.
That could be too.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a little predatory, but Elvis himself wasn't. I don't think he was super predatory.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the way that it's depicted is pretty accurate to the book, because I've read the book.
Yeah.
He courted the shit out of her. Like, he spoke to her parents. Like, he was, like, talking to the dad. Like, listen, sir, like, I'm a real gentleman with your daughter. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but, I mean, like, he did all the right things that you would do with a girl. You know, albeit she's 14, but, like...
Scratch the part where he's, like, pilling her up, though. Like...
Well, yeah, that came...
Like...
That came later,
yeah.
I'm saying, like, the initial... You know, the initial thing.
Yeah.
The initial, like, courtship of getting to know each other.
Yeah.
You know, and he had valid points. He would tell her, like, yo, like, you got to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, hey, I can't see you right now because you need to stay over there.
Yeah.
You need to finish high school or something. He would tell her these things. And, you know, I think it was wrong the way that he, like, led her on and stuff.
Yeah.
Or I guess made it seem like they were exclusive because, you know, like, if I was Elvis, bro, I'd be like, listen, I'm Elvis. Like, we're gonna, like, I can't,
Listen, I'm Elvis.
like, I can't just be monogamous with you. Like, I would be honest, you know?
Yeah.
But at that time, that doesn't happen, you know? So...
Nobody knows what the fuck.
Yeah, no one knows what the fuck they're getting into, and you know if but Elvis is Elvis. He's not gonna, especially at the way things were at that time. Like, he's not gonna say that shit. But yeah, that would have been the right thing to do. Like, listen, hey, we were just a fling, or I don't know, but I genuinely believe that he really did love her. Yeah. But his life was so fucked that he didn't know how to really show that love.
I think. Yeah, like here's the thing. I think that it's a love that I felt like was very much based on like his terms, you know.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it was like, I think for Elvis, like it might have been like, I think for Elvis it was like love, you know. For Elvis it was love, but like.
Yeah, it's like the way he knew.
Love for him was very skewed. Love for him was very fucking like distorted, you know, in a sense, because, you know, the whole movie is really like a coming of age story. But the thing is like, what do you do when your coming of age story is literally, you know, you're married to this like man who's like the most famous rock star in the entire fucking world, you know, and so it's like. That's a really unique perspective. And what I love about the movie too is like the way that it's shot. You know, Sofia Coppola, she has this very dainty and very soft aesthetic, you know, that I think is like present throughout all of her films, Marie Antoinette, Virgin Suicides, Lost in Translation. But I think it's perfect for the story that's being told with Priscilla, because when you see Priscilla, it's like, for her, you know, it's a coming of age story where she's, you know, engulfed in this world that's like there's a lot of, you know, very nice, shiny, expensive objects. You know, the home that she's in, Graceland, is very gaudy and expensive, but at the same time, like, I think when I look at it, it's also very devoid of color. You know. Yeah. There's hardly any color in there. You get stuck to like emerald. Like the greens aren't even green. They're
which
like
is
emeralds.
The opposite of what we saw in Baz Luhrmann's film.
Yeah, yeah.
Just crazy perspective, you know? Yeah,
it's crazy change of perspective. And then, you know, like I said, like the color palette is way different. And I think that that's all, you know, done on purpose, I think, to present, you know, you with a world where like Priscilla is living in a world that is beautiful and expensive, but there's no vibrancy. There's no love. It feels like she's living in a world with no love, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like she's living in a world that's like just been like manufactured, like almost like she herself is like a doll, you know?
Yeah, like she's another part of the house.
Like she's just a part of the house, like a piece of furniture, you know?
Man,
something that Elvis picked up while he was in Germany, you know?
Yeah, man, and I love the scenes where she's just like doing homework or like
Yeah.
just sitting
Yeah.
or like walking around.
Yeah.
And it really does. Sofia Coppola does a really good job at like highlighting how mundane her life was.
Yeah.
While Elvis is off filming a new movie
Mhm.
or doing this or doing that, and
Yeah.
you know. But it also, at a certain point in the film, does a really good job at showing the love
Mhm.
that they did have for each other.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like it did a good job at like depicting like almost like they found friendship and like loneliness. I think
Yes.
between the two of them.
Yeah, like there was a beautiful scene where they're in the room together.
Yeah.
And you don't see what they're doing, but you just see like the maid or the cook
Yeah.
drop the food, pick up the empty plates, drop the food, pick up the empty plates, drop the food, pick up the
Yeah.
empty plates.
Or like when they were taking LSD together. Like,
Yeah.
Because I'm not incriminating myself here, but I'm familiar with something like that. Like that feeling of like being so in love with somebody and just being so like comfortable like in that space. Just being like in a bedroom with them, just chilling. Like,
yeah,
just
I
fuck,
think that
like
they could have been a beautiful couple, but it was never. Well, because if you go and you watch the Elvis movie by Baz Luhrmann,
mm-hmm.
or if you know anything about Elvis's life, he was doomed from the start.
Yeah.
That's why very early on, even while he was in Germany, he was popping pills.
Yeah.
Because that's something that the colonel advised him to do. And he always, always, always got this shit from a doctor.
Yeah.
And if you're a stupid fucking idiot, not a stupid fucking idiot, but if you're an educated person in the fucking 50s,
mm-hmm.
like most people were,
about medication,
of all things,
you're gonna
if a doctor gives you something, bro, you're gonna take it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like up until very recently, that's been the case for people. Like,
yeah,
and that still is the case for like some generations, like our parents' generation. They're like, "Oh, the doctor said."
Yeah.
Like, so
who
gives a
until
shit?
Recently, yeah.
Who gives a shit what the doctor says? Try this, try this, try this, try a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just hop on the prescriptions,
Yeah.
So we're talking about the 50s and 60s.
I mean, yeah.
And Elvis is just, well, the doctor gave it to me, so everything's all right.
Mm.
And it's like the doctor gave it to him, and this dude's fucking popping him like a motherfucker. And it does such a great job at like how like, remember when she just doesn't wake up?
Yeah.
For like 2 days because he gave her fucking sleeping pills at fucking 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, dude, giving a 14-year-old fucking
that's just like
sleeping pills and shit.
Yeah,
like,
and she just never woke up. Like that he could have killed her. 2
days later, yeah,
he could have killed her.
Yeah.
And
that was some fucking horse tranquilizer.
But he doesn't think that way because everyone around him is like, oh, here you go, Elvis. This is good. This is good. And then doctors are just like, here we go, Elvis.
Yeah.
And he was doomed from the start, dude. And like, that's what makes his story so sad, because it's all around.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that like if you look at Elvis's life in its entirety, like it had to happen the way that it did. He was a legend, but ultimately, like, it's a circle.
Yeah.
And that was his journey. And Elvis, unfortunately, anyone attached or surrounded, not surrounded, anyone attached to his life in any way, is gonna pay the price.
Yeah.
And that we see that with a lot of stars,
his mom, for one.
His mom and
his wife. I mean, shit. Even most recently, like Lisa Ann,
his daughter.
I mean,
and that's really fucked up. That Priscilla's. It's not fucked up, but it in the sense of like it's fucked up that she not only watched her ex-husband die, but also her daughter. Like that's.
It's sad. I mean, she had to bury her husband and her daughter.
That is like
it's not supposed to be like that,
Yeah, man. And
they were supposed to be burying her. It's the other way around,
Yeah, man. And oh man, I just I also feel like this film did a really good job at like adding a little bit more to Elvis. We've seen a lot of like people portray Elvis.
Yeah.
And I feel like this film did a really good job at like giving him some subtleties that I've never seen before. Other than, and I was telling Dave before we started the podcast, but I'm a huge Elvis fan, and I've gone down rabbit holes where I've seen like really obscure like home videos of him at Graceland. Like I feel like I know Elvis.
Yeah.
And I feel like the way he was written in this movie was very nuanced. I feel like we haven't really seen that. The only place that I've seen that is like in actual Elvis archive footage.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene where not a scene, there's a video on YouTube that I've watched where Elvis is doing a press conference.
Yeah.
And it's kind of later in his career. Like he's kind of all drugged up and stuff, but you still get that like nuance version in his voice, like the nuanced, because a lot of times like when someone does Elvis, they're like, oh, hey there, baby.
Yeah.
You know, like Johnny Bravo, you know,
Kind of like a parody, yeah,
like oh yeah,
like Jack White.
Yeah, like Jack White. But
Look out, man!
Look out, man! I gotta cut your head off there.
It's karate.
It's karate. There's only two people in the world that know that: the
Chinese,
the Chinese, and the king.
And one of them's me.
And one of them's me. Huh! Watch out now.
I fucking love Jack
Yeah.
White. He did Elvis.
The fucking great. That's the greatest biopic ever made, bro.
Yeah.
Dewey Cox.
Yeah.
Fucking Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
I almost wish he was real. Like, I almost wish that
He
was
is
a
real,
true
bro.
story. Yeah.
That is a true story. Dewey Cox, bro. No, but you know, Jacob Elordi, and what's crazy is like he's Australian as fuck.
Yeah.
And man, he does his voice good, man. That's something like that cuz I really do be watching like Elvis videos like through and through, and like I said, like there's that one interview that he does where Elvis where they're asking him stuff, and there's a reporter. I'll try to do it. I probably won't do it good, but there's a reporter that asks him like, Elvis, what do you think about the current state of the Vietnam War? Some shit like that.
Yeah.
And Elvis is like, well, he's like, well, I'd like to keep those things to myself. You know, like I like to, well, you know, I keep those things personal. You know, I don't really share them with anybody.
Yeah.
So something like that, and it's like it's not like hey, I don't know. It's like it's very soft like this.
Yeah.
And this is kind of how I talked, and it's very like nuanced, you know.
Yeah.
And Jacob Elordi got it, bro. Like
Yeah.
he really got that down.
The
like,
little like. The little intricate like things and mannerisms in his voice.
Yeah, like it wasn't over the top. It was just it's like what it needed to be, you know. And
yeah.
And you know, there were times where I do this thing sometimes when I watch biopics where like I put my eyes like together, like, and then I look at the screen, and I can see it, you know. And I did that, and I was like, I could see.
Oh yeah,
I could see
like,
a resemblance, like
yeah,
or like he resembles Elvis. Like I could see it, and like with the makeup and the costumes and everything, I was like, yeah, I could see this. Like, he's doing a good job. But I know you had some opinions on it, and I'm really really excited to hear them.
Okay, yeah. Well, first when as we've gotten to like talking more and more about it, the more that I think about it is I think that one of the things that the movie struggles with sometimes is kind of grasping how to actually tackle the story. You know, for instance, because you have like you have like this, like I said, this coming of age story, and it's a coming of age story that's different than probably any other one that you've seen before. You know, I mean, you've never seen like a movie like this really, where you know it's about this kid, this 14-year-old kid, who it's almost like, for instance, I feel like it's a coming of age story in the sense that you don't really see Priscilla doing a whole lot, right? It's more just so that like there's a lot that happens to Priscilla. A lot goes on where it's like it feels like she's kind of going through the motions more than she does like have a say in anything that's happening to her, you know?
Yes.
It feels like, and so that I feel like that was like a complicated story to tell, you know, because at the same time, you know, Priscilla, like in her book and in the movie, there's also that love that was conveyed between Elvis and Priscilla.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that was a hard thing to tackle with just an hour and 45 minutes in the story to tell. And so what I think really should have happened is I feel like a lot more could have been accomplished. I only have a couple of gripes with it, and one of those things being is that I feel like a lot more could have been done with the story if you had just had a little bit more, maybe 2.5 hours, 2:15. Like I feel like if you had, because like I said, because Priscilla was 14 and Elvis was 24, it's kind of hard to portray a relationship that has like a lot of gray areas. It's not all black and white. There's a lot of gray areas, and I feel like they should have given themselves more time to like kind of iron out and work out like what those gray areas were. That way we can actually get a depiction of like their marriage in a way that I feel like the audience could latch onto. That way that would have made like Priscilla leaving a little bit more, I guess, impactful in a sense. And so yeah, that's the thing that I will say about that. There's some editing things as well that I'm not really too too keen on. For instance, like what you were saying with the whole like scene and
like,
scene
like,
and then
yeah,
it
it's
ends
like and scene.
Yeah,
Although
mm-hmm.
it makes it feel like a stage production.
It does.
Which it's kind of cool. Like if you think about it that way, like I'm like, oh, okay.
At its best,
it's like the curtains closing.
At its best, it's like a stage production. At its worst, it feels like TV movie. And sometimes it's like, you gotta be careful with it. I don't think that like I don't think it's always bad to do like the fade out.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it with every almost every scene, it kind of feels like you're watching a compilation of scenes rather than a coherent story that's trying to be like from attaching itself from one end to another.
I will say I have some input on this, but I was reading that she had to cut a lot.
Oh,
so that might be that might explain that.
Priscilla had she was a consultant, right, on this film?
Yeah. She produced it.
Yeah.
So man, she, I also really, so I had heard that there's not any Elvis songs really in this movie.
No.
Which is a huge thing. So if you're going into it like, oh, Elvis, like, no, it's not Elvis.
It's not, movie. It's not even an Elvis movie, really.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, oh, it's going to be kind of weird,
Yeah.
But it makes so much sense. It adds so much to the story by not including his music.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I didn't think that it would make me feel that way, but like it really does. Like the absence of his music is so crucial to the telling of this story because you really you're allowed to step out of that world for a second.
Yeah.
And just view it from Priscilla's perspective. And that just was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
What was your opinions on Jacob Elordi as Elvis?
He wasn't. I think okay. So Jacob Elordi, I think he. I think he did fine with it. I think he did good. I think from what I saw, like there was definitely like something that was required of him, from this film as an actor, where you have to play it with a more you have to play it more subtle. And you're not really playing, you're playing Elvis, but you're not playing Elvis like the showman. That was Austin Butler's job.
Yes.
Whereas like Jacob Elordi's job is to be Elvis, the boyfriend, Elvis, the husband, Elvis, the father, And so I feel like that was what was required of him this go around. And what I don't like is that I don't like that there is this comparison game that's going on right now between Austin Butler and Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, completely different.
And it's like
both were great in my opinion.
Yeah, they were. I thought they were both fine. I thought they were like
it's like two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. Where and a lot of people are gonna do this too, where I feel like they're gonna make comparisons out of Priscilla and Elvis, and it's like, dude, that shouldn't even be a discussion at all whatsoever.
Yeah, so like if you are a fan of Elvis,
Yeah.
I would say those are the two definitive movies.
Yeah.
Like when you buy those two DVDs, you
Mhm.
put them next to each other in your collection.
Yeah.
I would even maybe encourage having a movie marathon where you watch Elvis and then you watch Priscilla.
I
Or
would.
you watch Priscilla and then you watch Elvis. Very, very. I feel like they're real companion pieces, to be honest with you.
They are, because I will say, like, it's very much, Priscilla is very much a Sofia Coppola film, whereas Baz Luhrmann's Elvis is very much a Baz Luhrmann
And that's
Elvis film.
that's what that needed to be. Baz
Yeah.
Luhrmann was the perfect person to make that movie
Dude, he
because
was the guy to do it.
it needed to look like that. It needed to
Yeah.
be like that. He was the only person that could truly make people feel the weight of what Elvis truly was to U.S. history,
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
to the
To-
world history.
to the culture of American music.
Yes. Can I play you something?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I'm gonna fast forward this. I'm gonna play this for y'all.
Go ahead.
Let me see. Hold on. I gotta fast forward this.
Okay.
Man, he looks fucked up in this video.
Yeah. They have the same eyes. I noticed him and Jacob Elordi.
Yeah,
that was what I kept seeing like throughout the movie. They had that same like that big brow,
Yeah.
What do you do for relaxation? You said you study karate. If you can relax doing this, I don't know. No, I read a lot and go horseback riding and stuff like that.
All right, and then
The new Priscilla trailer has.
let me see.
I'll tell you when I get there, okay?
I'm trying to find a clip of him.
God, we could edit this.
I'm trying to find a clip of him. So, but you see how he talks though, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it's very not.
It's very contained. It's very realistic, Like
Yeah, it's like very, he just
it's true to character.
he was just someone that had a southern accent. I don't know why everyone's like, "Oh, hey, here,"
Yeah, yeah. No, but
Why can't I find a clip of this? What the
I was
fuck?
saying though before about Austin Butler and Jacob Elordi, like, there's two different things that were required of them, as they were playing Elvis, in two different aspects, like what I feel like it's unfair to make a comparison, between Jacob Elordi, saying that he's like better than Austin Butler, because it's
Yeah,
like that's first off, like,
he said that.
no.
Oh.
I'm saying like I've seen people making those comparisons, and it's like there's nothing to compare, Okay, let's hear it.
Fucking bullshit ass TikTok. Here you go.
So let's roll it.
Is that
Oh
God
no.
damn it! All these fucking things are still.
Oh,
I fucking hate TikTok. That's why I don't even go on.
Yeah,
TikTok
but then when I'm
anymore.
on my For You page, it just randomly pops up.
It just
I don't even gotta look for it. Fucking bullshit, bro. Anyway, I was trying to play a
Anyway.
video of fucking
Jacob Elordi.
Jacob Elordi as Elvis, but
We'll,
not cooperating. But it's okay. I'm not gonna do anything in the editing. Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck
But,
it. Keep it as it is. But
I really love this movie.
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. The movie ends with Priscilla deciding to leave Elvis.
mm-hmm.
She it's very sad. Very, very sad. And she's driving away from Graceland, and man, dude, Dolly Parton's version of I Will Always Love You, man.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I had never really heard that full song before.
Yeah,
Dolly Parton's version, not Whitney Houston's version.
yeah,
And man, dude, that was such a, like, I really got emotional during that part.
yeah,
The song, the way it ended, the feeling that you get from that ending is it's so sad.
yeah.
So unbelievably sad. But it's a perfect ending.
Yeah.
It's
'cause you know it there was a lot of it felt opportunistic at the end of it, in a sense, you know,
Yeah.
like
It's like-
opportunistic towards Priscilla.
Yeah, like you really, because we know what happens with Elvis.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
We don't really know much about Priscilla. Like, we do, but not. It's not really in the public eye what the rest of Priscilla's story was. But the cool thing is that the movie ends on, like you said, an opportunistic viewpoint of her life. It's just very. It's sad. It's bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I could put it.
Yeah.
And then the choice to use that song was probably the best choice in the entire film.
Yeah. And that was and it was a good thing to end it on. I feel like it, you know, the story it told, you know, it felt like a solid conclusion where it was like, you know, now Priscilla is kind of left to make decisions for herself, you know. And that was even what she said at the end, is like, she said, like, I'm leaving you, like, because
he said, did I lose you? Did I lose you to another man?
And she said, you're losing me to a life of my own.
Yeah.
And that was it, you know.
And up until that point, Elvis had really been he had been telling her, like, it's either me or career.
Yeah.
Like, he was making her choose, you know.
Yeah.
And it really, the movie really does highlight how, like, low key he was super manipulative.
Yeah.
You
And then it only got worse. Like, okay, so he had his resident, like, she left after the time he took up his residency, right? In Vegas?
No, I think she left during that time.
Oh, she left during that time.
Yeah,
Okay,
during that time.
Okay.
Was when she was like, I'm done. And
Yeah.
that's already, he was, you know, you could watch the Elvis movie to, like, get in, you know, further on that, but he was already just.
It actually is kind of stunning how those movies, like, at some point actually do sync up with one another, where it's like the stories kind of like are telling the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like they have those different parts where it's like, oh shit, like.
Yeah, one of the saddest things about Elvis's death, which is crazy to think about, but he was supposed to be in A Star Is Born.
Yeah, that's right.
And to think what if he was right, like, if he was not all drugged up all the time, like, to think what that movie could have done for him, man.
Yeah, and that's what he wanted, man. He wanted
That's all he wanted.
He wanted to be an actor.
He wanted to legitimately, like,
be
an actor. Yeah, and he could have done it, dude. I genuinely believe he could have done it, and.
But then fucking Tom Parker just kept putting him in schlocky bullshit, man. Like all these
fuck that movie,
nothing.
Man. I mean, fuck that guy, dude.
All these fucking nothing musicals.
Yeah, because it's like that's what sells. You know, they're not gonna take you seriously as an actor unless you sing. It's like, damn, dude. Like, his whole life would have been different had Tom Parker just not been there, but also it would have been different had he not been there, because he also, I don't know. It's just a tragedy, the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's why it's so interesting. That's why it impacts the universe, because it's such a tragedy.
Do you have Priscilla's book? I want to read that when I'm done with Killers of the Flower Moon. Oh man, I gotta.
But I'm gonna buy it.
Nice.
I'm gonna buy the hard copy.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna read Killers of the Flower Moon. I think I'd like to be interested in reading that.
I'll lend you the book when I'm done with it.
Okay.
But
yeah, man.
Yeah,
this
man.
is
the takeaway. What's the takeaway from this episode? Don't marry the white man.
Don't marry the white man.
Don't marry the white man.
Huge takeaway.
Make your own decisions.
And go see these two movies.
Go see these two films
in the theater.
In the theater. Sofia Coppola, Martin Scorsese,
Jacob
Leonardo
Elordi,
DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone,
Kaylee
Spaney. It's man, dude.
Great films.
It's a good time for movies right now. We're in the November and December period of the year,
I would say the next movie that I'm hyped for is The Iron Claw.
The Iron Claw. You know what I want to see next? It's coming out this Friday. The Killer with David Fincher.
Oh, it's coming out this Friday?
This fucking Friday,
Okay,
dude, on
sick,
Netflix.
sick.
Oh, I'm so ready for it.
I don't like that it's coming out on Netflix, but
Yeah.
I'd rather watch a David Fincher film in the fucking theater. But
I don't know if it's gonna be in the theater, but if I could find like a showing of
If
it
the- yeah,
in
if
the
it's at
theater,
the-
I'm gonna go see it.
well,
in
the
theater.
Draft House would do something like that,
They would,
or
right?
Flicks maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, but I'm
I
excited
love
for the
David
Killer,
Fincher, bro.
the Iron Claw. I'm excited for. That's
Great
gonna
time.
be dope.
And then just to kind of throw this out there, I think the SAG AFTA strike is getting ready to end.
The actor strike.
The actor strike, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Either tomorrow or
nice.
the next day. So there's going to be a lot more movie news that will be coming out. So,
Yeah. We'll let
So,
y'all
yeah.
know about that.
but yeah, guys, thank you so much. This was kind of a long episode, but a lot to cover.
Yeah.
And we really loved these two films. And
A lot we
please,
wanted to talk about.
yeah. Please make sure you guys get out to the theater this weekend or this week at some point and go see a film. Whether it's these two or another one. So, yeah, I'm Joey.
I'm Dave.
And this is the In the Box podcast. We'll see you next week.